Well, hello, everyone. We're live. Welcome to AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. I'm Madeline Sklar. Today, we're going to be talking about AI tips, tricks, resources, advice, things that help you work smarter, not harder, because there's so many of these tools and platforms, and it can be a little much. So I just try to weed through like all this information so we can really get to like what's the stuff that will help us in both our business and everyday life. If you're new here, hi, I help creators, entrepreneurs, a lot of digital marketers, people that are wanting to use AI to boost their productivity, help their business without feeling overloaded. I think too many times we all just get so overloaded with this stuff. And I always throw in a little dash of social media know-how from time to time because that's my background is teaching social media. And a lot of the things we do on social media, we find helpful ways to do that with AI. So they kind of intertwine from time to time. I just want to help people stay ahead of the game when it comes to this stuff. So this live stream is brought to you by our AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter School community. It's free to join. I'll show it on the screen in just a moment, but come join us over on Skool because that's where we continue all these discussions. This is just our little 1 hour gathering online, but a lot of the continuation and discussions of other things happen over on Skool. Let me bring everybody up, and I see Bez just made it too. Hey, everybody, Jim and Bez, we've missed y'all. And hey, Barb, good to see you. I love your profile
Howdy.
picture.
That's
Always
right.
great seeing everybody.
Hope everyone's off to a start of a good new year or a happy new year because if we haven't had that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's still January,
2026.
so you can say that, right? I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can say it during the month of January, but I mean, gosh, we're already coming towards the end of the month. It's like everything goes fast. Everything goes fast. But I'm really excited that we're in January because a few weeks ago, I celebrated my 30 years as an entrepreneur, as somebody in digital marketing. It's been really exciting that, wow, I mean, that's like a huge milestone. It makes you feel old too. It's like, wow, kind of old there as well, but it's just looking back and the progression of the internet. I mean, I got on the internet back in 1995. At the time, I was married to a very techie uh, computer person, and uh, he figured out how to. At the time, well, at one point, I think it was at that time in 95, he was working at Compaq Computers,
Oh,
and that was really far from where we lived, and from the part of town. And he had figured out, and this was before most people even had heard of the internet or .com, didn't know what dial-up was. He had figured out a way to have his setup at his work and that we could get that internet at home somehow. I don't know. He was good at hacking. And it was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So I got, was on the internet early on. I'm like, this whole .com thing looks so interesting. And I thought this would be fun to like really immerse in this. And then, I self-taught myself HTML. And back then it was just HTML code. It wasn't that hard, and you did it in Notepad on your computer. There were no programs, no tools yet. And I taught myself how to do it. And several people are like, can you build one for me? And I'm like, business idea. So that was the start of me being an entrepreneur, working for myself through that process. But look at how much everything has happened. Who would have thought 30 years ago where we'd be at today with all this AI stuff? And then 20 years ago, when the whole start of social media, it's just amazing, like looking back on all that. So, yeah, 30
yeah,
years.
it is crazy, and it's and speaking of Skool too, though, it was pretty exciting to see that they've now added the ability for you to pin people in your live stream, so it's becoming more and more like Zoom in that regard. So, figuring out how to maybe, can't not quite there yet to break the Zoom umbilical cord for me, but um, definitely something to consider.
Yeah, Skool's
Yeah.
an amazing platform. I definitely recommend everybody watching. Come over to our community on Skool. It's skool.com/Madeline Sklar. I have it there on the screen. It is an all-in-one platform for communities. It's like a Facebook group, but way better. And yeah, like Jim's talking about, you can live stream in there. You can basically do a Zoom call in there for your community. You can do webinars in there, like, you know, how we use StreamYard, this platform. It's like, they're really making it so that you don't need other tools. Like if you use that, you use Skool, you know, a lot of people that have Skool communities pay for Zoom. They don't need to pay for Zoom anymore. It's now included. Even if you're doing the $9 a month plan, it's included. It's amazing. Like, yeah, you can just set up a Skool community for as low as $9 a month. Incredible.
But Madeline,
So-
we can't have the webinars under the
Right.
and that's typically what Zoom is known for is its webinars.
Yeah, that's a great
So-
point, because in Skool you can do a webinar style, you can do a Zoom call style. And that's a great point, because on the $99 plan, you can do either or. You got the capabilities, but the $9 a month plan, you can only do the Zoom style, not the webinar. And actually, I think that's actually very smart, because if you're doing the
Yeah.
webinar style, you're doing this more of a business thing, and it would make sense. You're still going to save money from your Zoom. I mean, I remember back in the day, GoToWebinar, then it was Zoom, and you know, you're paying all this money for these tools, and it's so
but
nice that we don't.
you can't have private Zoom meetings or school meetings. Am I correct on that?
No,
There's a
you
way.
can have.
There's a
Yeah.
way.
Yes,
there
There's a way.
is.
There's
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
you have to
certainly.
be very specific in how you set your event up. You can
Mhm.
invite specific people, and so only they can go to it. So that's
Oh.
where you really tie in the calendar, and
Mhm.
that's because I played around with that just to see if there was a way I could create it without it making it available to everyone in the community, just to see
Yeah,
if
let me show, because it's
And
doable.
classroom too. You can do
Yes.
calendar and classroom.
It's doable. So if I'm in the calendar here for our AI shortcuts to work smarter, so with me as the owner or an admin of the site, so I can go and come in here to add an event, and you know, I have the choice of a Skool call or Skool webinar, but it's all in who you allow to access. It defaults to all members. But like what you're saying, Bez, like you could sit here and maybe put it on a tier level or a member level that nobody's hit yet.
Okay.
You know, or the tier that that you don't have people in. I mean, you've got some different choices here.
Okay.
I mean, how many people are at your highest level at a 9? Probably.
For me, I haven't really opened up my community yet, so there's only 9 people. But I normally I do run
But
one
yeah,
session.
like Barb was saying, if you create a class, which you can also do within your calendar, then you can
Yes.
actually invite specific people, because it's like they
Ah.
were invited to the class.
But let me show you the easiest way. Now, I've had my Skool community for some time now. I think close to 2 years for the one that y'all are all in. So when I go to the leaderboard, every Skool community has a leaderboard. You can see at the top to the right, like right next to the about is the leaderboard. So there's nobody at the 7, 8, or 9. So all I have to do is just go do the live stream and just put it at level 9. Nobody else is going to see it. That would be a way for me to do a private one. So that's what I would recommend. Now, if you have a very popular community and you've got people at all levels, that's different. But one of the things that's interesting about this platform, it has a component where it's gamified. So the more that people are active, liking, commenting, posting, they can move up levels, and you can provide perks. Kind of, you can come up with like, okay, for those that reach, I know some communities where at a higher level, they get to have a one-on-one call with the owner of the site, who's like a real big deal person. Like you can come up with different perks for different levels. I've never really ventured into that, because I can never figure out like, what would I offer? But it's just an incentive for people to be more active. And let me tell you something else, because there's something really cool I've been doing on Skool. Now, I've been using Skool, I want to say it's been about it's been a long time. I don't know. Does it I know it'll tell you when you started in a community. Does it tell you when you started,
Mhm.
because I know you know everything with this, Barb. Like, if I go to the first community I joined, will it tell me when I joined that community?
I honestly can't remember, but
I
you
don't remember if it
can on
does.
your profile. Doesn't your profile say when you started? It seemed to me I found it on my profile when I just click on me.
Let me see. Let me go to my profile. Oh, yeah. You're right. Well, no, this is not right, because okay, it does it on the community you're in, because I'm at my AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. It says September 23rd, 2024. So that was when I set that one up. So what you're able to do is just go into each one
I
and
know
see
I
how,
found it.
and you go to profile and see how long, but there should be a way to see, because my other school community I started December 2023. There should be a way for it to show when you, because when I first started using Skool, I joined somebody's community. Let me see if I can just get into that community and click on my profile and see what it says. That's probably the best way. Okay, let me see. This looks right. Okay. August 31st, 2023 is when I had joined. It was the first school, or actually,
No, it
no,
says it on. I'm looking at my profile, and it says it right on. When I click on my profile icon, it says it right on there. Joined July 9 to 2025, and where I'm at, how many contributions I've made, how many followers I
right.
have, and how many I'm following.
But that's not the date I joined Skool, what it's showing me. I joined, that's what's throwing me off. So yeah, if I'm just going to my profile for everything on Skool, right? Because on the,
That's what I'm talking about.
it's
Because I
weird
go back
because,
to my community I started, and it was started back on July 9th. I
see,
guess
mine's incorrect, because I'm on this for all my stuff, has my groups I own, and it says down here, join September 23rd, 2024. It's not correct, because the first one I started was December 2023, and the first school I joined was as it said, August of 2023. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. But let me tell you the thing that I want to tell y'all. So look at the top. So on everybody's profile at the top, you see all those green boxes. Okay, this is your activity. This is every day. It lets you know, how many activities have you done each day. If I click on today's Thursday, it already says 25 activities. Let me tell you what I've learned about this, because I paid, even though I've been in Skool every day, using it very actively, because I run two separate communities, this one or AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter, but then I have my Kratom community that I started before this one, and I'm in other people's communities, and I've been active there. So every time I like somebody's post, every time I comment on somebody's, every time I post something, it counts as an activity. And I've already known all this, but here's the thing. What I never paid attention to is to try to get 30 of those dark green boxes for 30 days, 30 days of them. Okay. So, because when I put my mouse over it, if you don't, you got to have at least 10 activities, and there's a cutoff time. And all I know is I've been Central Time Zone. The cutoff for me in Central Time Zone is 6 p.m. So figure out, based on your time zone, starting with 6 p.m. Central, whatever time zone you're in, that's the cutoff for the day. And then it starts for the next day, even though it's still the same day. And here's what happens. If you get 30 of those in a row, has to be every day consecutive, you get a flame next to your profile. That's the little thing. Skool does these little perks. They have little emojis for the top people, the top active, the top earners, all this stuff. But everybody gets a flame as long as there's 30 days consecutive. And so I'm in a Skool community. It's actually a spinoff from another community where it's specifically for those of us in a particular community that have our own Skool community, just how to stay up to date on all the things with using Skool. And they started this challenge several weeks back. And the challenge is, let's all, focus on trying to get at least 10 activities a day. So you get, the flame next to you. And a bunch of them had already been doing it and they have it. I'm like, I never really paid attention, like purposefully made sure I did at least 10 activities. So you can see that's a year's worth of all those boxes. And the dark green means, and you put your mouse over, it lets me know, like some days I had a crazy number. And the lighter green is less than 10, and the gray means no activities. And I'm surprised I even see any gray ones because I'm on there every day, but there are probably just some days where my communities aren't very active and I'm not jumping into other people. So anyway, long story short, I decided to do this challenge. And I joined the challenge right after I had, January 1st. So I was already on a roll prior to January 1st. Let's see. So December 15th, I think, is that right? December 15th is when, from December 15th on, I was already doing this without even realizing it. So I joined, I wanted to join their challenge, and I think the challenge had just started, and I think they started January 1st or something. So I wasn't even paying attention on January 1st, so I didn't even hit my 10. So my day started on the 2nd, and I was so good at this. And then you know what happened on Monday? I didn't pay attention to the cutoff time. I was busy, and I lost I didn't get the dark green box. So it reset. So now I'm on day 3, as you see here. So I'm restarting the challenge. And it's just a goal I set for myself, just like my 30 days of Madeline with my content I've been doing every day on social media, is just to get in that habit and to be more active and, importantly, be invisible. Be invisible. So I wanted to share all that with y'all. So just something for fun if you want to get an emoji flame next to your name on Skool. It's and once you start thinking about doing it, it's not that hard, but it's knowing what the cutoff time is so you have time to go in and do that and just be active. But being active on Skool is good because it gets you seen by more people. And I just think it's a good thing. So, have y'all ever tried that, or
I watch it every day. I have been online on there because I jumped right into the Skool. If you get a community, if you actually subscribe, I have the lower level, the $9 a month, but you're automatically in the Skoolers group.
Yes.
Which is by people who are actually creating and managing communities on there. And I think it's funny you should bring that up because there's different. I can go over my thing looks pretty green across.
Can I show yours? Can I show yours? Is it okay?
Yeah, if you want to show it, you can.
If you're comfortable, because I could. Yeah, all right.
I don't care.
I just want to make sure.
But see, ever since September when I got on, you can see I show up at least once a day, and that's daily habits for me on any community that I belong to. And I'll be honest, in Mari Smith's circle community and Brandon Bouchard's, lots really low in there as far as finding people in there and being able to react and so forth and so on. And I'm so glad you brought this topic up because Mari Smith is having a special free live tomorrow on this whole issue about what's going on in the groups on Facebook. And we are saying, come on over to Skool, folks. We don't have to put up with all that BS. However,
I told her that
I never thought I would like the gamifying feature of Skool. And, when I got on, which was before you, and actually my Compaq was delivered by Rod at Compaq Computer Corporation.
Wow.
So I'm a real oldie but goodie. But the thing is, I started working with psychologists right away, psychologists and psychiatrists who were online, because of course you had to be crazy to be online, to be using computers.
Yeah, right.
So the medical psychology profession, they gravitated, and the lawyers, all those three gravitated towards me right away. And we all worked together on the Electronic Frontier Foundation. But the thing is that I never played computer games. I didn't like gamifying at all as a motivating factor. And as you know, because we were on Facebook early too, they tried introducing gamification features as well and were very controversial. And so I just think that the developers of Skool, and I went to I've watched every week they come to the party and show us on YouTube and in Zoom what they're up to in developing their product. And I just think their heads are in the right place and watching the people and carrying forward. So I will be very surprised. I mean, Skool has just been exploding.
It has.
I'll be very surprised that those who are coaches, consultants, software developers, in particular, the biggest, I have one, that's what actually brought me to Skool. I thought it was you, but I had been to Skool only to pick up this information from this software developer months before. I found that out. I didn't even realize I'd been there. And so certain types of careers in particular that, use online platforms to communicate with their prospects and their customers and clients every day, I believe that Skool is a better place for them to really set foundations, But don't leave Facebook. I mean, that's the other thing is everybody's, oh, well, get off Facebook. We're not going to be there anymore. No way. It's the front door. And guess what? The guys at Skool said that right from the get-go. They're actually encouraging all of us. You want your Skool community to grow? You go to Facebook.
Interesting.
So,
I mean, Facebook has its issues for sure. But yeah, I mean, it just depends too. Like with my Kratom stuff, there's too much censorship over a plant. So it doesn't work over there anymore. It used to be that was the place. I mean, Facebook groups were real popular for that for years, but not anymore because the censorship is unreal. So Skool, and I'm so glad I started my Skool community for that particular passion project of mine several years ago, because I've already built it up really nicely. Like we have this place to go where we don't have to worry about the censorship and issues that we face on social media every day. But no, it makes sense what you're saying. And I can see just in business in general, that's pretty smart. One more thing I want to show, because I got a bunch of stuff I want to show y'all today, but thank you for sharing that perspective, Barb. You always have great info to share. Going back over to our Skool community here, I always show the replay when we do this live stream. I'll put the information in here. I see Rachel's making it her way. Hey, Rachel, good to see you. Glad you're joining us.
Hi, sorry. I swear to God, it was 7:00 2 minutes ago.
What?
Like the morning went so fast. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like looking at the time going, oh my God, they're already halfway through their chat. We've been talking about Skool for quite a while. But what I'm showing now is that I always have the replays. I even have a little category for it. I have the replays in here for this live stream each week, even though it's all over social media. But my new thing is what I'm calling our Friday debrief, because I always come up with ideas. I think a lot of y'all are getting used to that by now because this is how I am. But with this Thursday, this weekly public live stream, I show y'all like, here are things I've come across, let's discuss. And then y'all talk about things you find or, sharing into the conversation. We have this great discussion, but it's limited to about an hour-ish. And so I want to have another way to further the conversation and dive deeper into somebody, because sometimes I show y'all cool stuff that's like, let's go deep dive into this one thing, because this would be really neat to let's all figure it out together. So I'm doing like the next day. So on Friday afternoon, so I'm calling it the AI Shortcuts Friday Debrief. So this is last week. I just want to show this on here. So when you're in our Skool community, which is free to join, just go to skool.com/Madeline Sklar. It's also in the ticker here, so you can grab the link there. Come over to our community, come be part of the conversation. So what we were talking about before is how we can live stream in Skool, which makes it private just for the Skool community members. So this, what the new thing is I've been experimenting with. I've done it for a few weeks now. So the next day, Friday at 3:00 Eastern is the time I'm doing it. and if you're free, great. If not, catch the replay. So here's the replay information. And so I've got the full video of our discussion here. Plus I linked to all the things I talked about. And one of the things I did a deep dive on is let's vibe code together. I've been wanting to do like the whole vibe code thing. And last Thursday here on this chat, I showed some stuff with Replit, which people use for vibe coding. So I kind of did this overview. And with this next day chat, let's do it together. So I have the replay in there of just me figuring this out and like doing. Barb was hanging out in there with me and I had no idea what I was doing, but I watched enough to learn like how to kind of dabble in the whole vibe coding thing. And so played around with it. It was fun. And so that's what I'm doing with this. But here's what was cool with last week's. And I mentioned on here, I talked about WhisperFlow, and I've talked about WhisperFlow here quite a bit. It's this amazing tool I've been using for over 6 months now. And what it is it allows me to do voice to text anywhere on my computer and even on my phone. Doesn't matter what app I'm in, doesn't matter what I'm using. It is so cool. And it's been really great for me because I have all kinds of like arthritis issues with my wrists. And so there are times where it's hard for me to use a computer because my wrists will hurt really bad. That's why many times I have these little, this helps me a lot, these little like wristband things. It kind of like does compression and it helps. But since discovering this, I literally press a key on my keyboard and just talk. And it is the best voice to text I've ever seen. And it utilizes AI to make sure it heard you correctly. And you can even mess up. I could press it down and say, yeah, let's experiment with this Replit thing. I mean, this, what is it called? Replit. Like I can sit here and be messing up while I'm talking and it will fix it. So it still comes out correctly in the voice to text. And so I showcased it when I did this chat last week, the Friday debrief. Because I was vibe coding, I knew that I just needed to talk out prompts into Replit. And I thought, this is going to be cool because this is how I actually do things. I'm going to press down the key on my keyboard on my computer here and just talk it out. And it's going to put the text on the screen. And I got to show you all how I do that. And so it's just cool. So I wanted to show this to y'all. So that's kind of my new thing. And yeah, so tomorrow, 3:00 Eastern, if anybody's around. If not, you can catch the replay. I love experimenting and trying new things.
Well, I'm hoping I get Leland to come into your group. Your community on Skool today. I got him over to Skool yesterday, and he was on my live yesterday talking about vibe coding.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, I met him on Blab, and he is a really geeky, techie kind of guy, and he is a musician, all of that. He has so much in common with us, Madeline. So
nice.
I will and he even said he was coming to this one today, and I thought, oh gosh, you got to get in and join us, because I knew after what you and I did, he's the one you want to have over there in your community talking with.
Cool. Cool. So we got to keep an eye out for Leland.
For Leland, yeah. I found out overnight last night that he had joined my community last night, and my goal was to get him in there and say, okay, do you remember Madeline? I couldn't remember if you knew each other before or whatever, but to connect you two. But
I know one, sure. I know one Leland, and it's the famous bass player Leland Sklar, who happens to have my same last name. We're not related, but in my 20 plus years running my music, Go Girls music community, I would be so rich if I just got $1 for every time somebody said, when they met me and my last name is Sklar, they say, oh, are you related to Lee Sklar or Leland Sklar? I no. But I would say, but we're Facebook friends, because we're Facebook friends. He's a big deal. He's played with every major artist. I saw him play. He opened for Linda Ronstadt in the 80s. Like I saw him in high school, and I had real good seats way up front. I mean, he's played with everybody. And what I used to joke over time, I said, you know what? I know I've arrived. If somebody asked him, because all the years I was in the music community and got really popular and well known, I thought I've arrived when somebody asked him, hey, are you related to Madeline Sklar from Go Girls Music? I don't know if it's ever happened, but I always thought that would be kind of cool if that, like, that would be really neat. But no,
Yeah.
that's the only Leland I know of, an amazing bass
Well,
player.
he'll really be an asset, so we have to get him in there to,
Yeah,
next couple
invite
of
him,
days.
invite him
And
on. He can even come on
as
screen
soon
if he
as I
wants.
have my 30 followers, I will do that.
Nice.
'Cause
Larry,
you know what he's
Larry says, my phrase for vibe coding is flow hacking. I like
Yeah.
that.
Isn't
Flow
Larry
hacking.
in your community too?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. And
yeah,
he's been on here a few times, but he likes to
Yeah.
just hang out in the live chat with us, which is all good. For anybody that in our community here that wants to come on screen here with us sometime, just reach out to me and let me know. It's for our Skool community members. It's one of the perks of being in our Skool community, which again is free, skool.com/Madeline Sklar. But yeah, we love having some of our community members coming on here. I love that y'all come on here every week and hang out with me on screen. I definitely prefer that over just being here by myself on screen doing all the talking. I posted something the other day on my X. Who else disappointed with X right now? I feel like I'm just, it's the void. It's the void. Like, I mean, it's not just me, right? Because I get nothing. I post,
Yeah.
nothing. It's crickets. It's major crickets.
Well,
Are y'all getting
Yeah.
that too?
I said I went to
Yeah.
because I kept saying I've mentioned it to you all before, and I thought, well, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and ask it about whether
Yeah.
since it knows so much about me at this stage in life, whether or not I should be there. But it actually told me, and I said I'd use Grok, and it actually told me to hang out because it hang on, and so I am.
Yeah.
But the asset that because I have that first level of the professional thing, whatever it is, but it has the ability
Premium,
to
I
put
think.
premium, yeah, and so we can put a newsletter there, or I mean, we can
Right.
put an article there, so you could do the newsletter thing there. But the other thing, I mean, we go round and round about this, and it's like, where are they seeing? And my primary reason to go to X to begin with was grabbing the news before it was news. Was following
But
AP, and
it's not nearly like that like
I
it used
know
to be.
that.
That's the
But
problem. It's just
one, you're right, but it just so happens that I set up lists on Twitter,
Me
which
too.
is now Skool, and so it still lets me have those tabs at the very top, and I clicked on them.
I use that every day.
And so I still use those daily, and I caught the thing about 11. Is it 11 Labs? I get the two of them confused. There's Delphi and 11 Labs, but 11 Labs came up with a really cool news release about what they're doing with AI and music and the stars. And just yesterday they came up with that. And I heard that Delphi was, they were dropping, because I know that like Brennan Bouchard was on there, a whole bunch of those people, and they dropped a live feature on them in that AI application. So we are definitely in revolutionary times.
Absolutely,
And
we are.
I'm really excited about that. And what I like about Skool is we are comfortable that it doesn't go out of our community unless we take it out of our community.
Right.
And that's when, even if you're the public part of it, it's not so public as the public on Facebook. I mean, it's like running with your pants down every day on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
who's
for
gonna
sure.
moon me next?
Right. Let's get over to some AI stuff. But for the people that are tuning in, we talk about Skool a lot because community building is the smartest thing everybody can be doing. Everything, when we look at social media, it used to be whoever has the most followers gets all the attention. It's not like that anymore. Attention has changed, and it's all about the people and building a community of people, a community of like-minded people. So a lot of people use Facebook groups for that. Even for those of you that just have like a group DM chat, a lot of us do that. Like we on X or on Facebook or whatever. I use Slack a lot too. Like I got different DM groups all over. That's a community. You have a community, whether it's your friends, whether it's colleagues, whatever it is. But Skool is changing the landscape of how we can bring the like-minded people together and grow and be connected and help each other and educate one another is amazing. So we talk about Skool a lot because we're all just so blown away at how great it is and how easily we all come together on there. So, so that's why we talk about it so much here. But let's jump into some AI stuff. I want to go through a few things I've come across. So back to my ex, which is just crickets. So it was one of my favorite tools that I use every day is Grammarly. And it's just this reminder. Grammarly is an AI tool, and so many of us have used it for years. I've been using Grammarly for over 6 years.
Me too.
And it's AI. It's just, we didn't know what to call it way back then, but it was utilizing AI technology. But I posted this the other day on my ex because what was so like, if you use Grammarly every week, they send you this like snapshot here. Like I'm on the premium account. So every week I get this email that shows me like the stats for the week. And it over time, it's like, when I look down here at the bottom where it says your writing stream, it tells me like how many weeks I've been using it. And it's like the last year or so, I'm like, boy, that number is so big. And it's like, wow, I've been using it for over 6 years now. And it's just interesting, like 6 years ago, we didn't even really know about AI. We certainly didn't know about it the way we know about it now, which was so interesting. But I wanted to put that out there. I know Rachel had to leave. I wanted to put that out there because I just found it so interesting, like looking at my stats, because I love how I use it. I use the Chrome extension, but I'm using the Atlas browser more and more because I really like it with the ChatGPT built right into it. And I realize, oh, I don't have it working on the Atlas browser. So this morning I was like, okay, while I'm in ChatGPT in the Atlas browser, let me just ask you, like, Chat, can I put the Grammarly that's a Chrome extension, can I put it into the Atlas browser? And it gave me instructions. So I was able to put it in there this morning. But I'm just blown away by my stats. Grammarly has analyzed a lot of words for me since November of 2009, 19 million. Holy cow. So I just thought it was just so cool. I wanted to share that because when I was looking at those stats on Monday, I'm like, holy cow, that thing is just crazy. But it's AI, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really love Grammarly. It helps me a lot. I think it's just such a great tool. Before I went to paid. Let me get to news. So if you haven't heard, ChatGPT has a memory upgrade. They announced it last week that it can now remember conversations from a year ago and give you the link directly to that. I've been playing around with this. I've yet to have it really do that for me. It is still being rolling. It's still rolling out. So not everybody has that, but it's for the paid accounts. If you're on a plus, if you're on the plus or the pro, but there's an article about it in Tech Radar. So if you're on a paid account, it's improving now, which is just good to know that you can actually go and have it give you the source link to some of these past conversations. Because there are times where I'm trying to find an older conversation and I'm having a hard time finding it. And I want to have this new feature work. So are any of y'all on the paid ChatGPT where you have the ability to have this new feature?
Yep. And I've been using it since, I don't know when I discovered it, but I saw that article and I definitely was able to call up stuff from 2 years. It was actually over a year ago.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah.
you've been able
So,
to do it.
but I don't know if it had anything to do with the way I named them.
But is it giving you the link? Like what I wanted to do is pull up a previous chat that I've had in ChatGPT, a specific conversation, and give me the link. Like I've never been able to.
You know what?
I want the link to it.
Okay. I saved the links. I have a blog on my corporate site that I have locked down since I've had it. And since I moved to WordPress. And I thought right from the beginning, because I'm an old beta tester, I thought every one of these things I run, I want to put the link to it in there. And so, because one of my things is ballooning, and ballooning is part of American history, world history. Actually, I had certain types of projects that I was doing, and I just pulled up that link, and I went from and I asked it if it could get me that information, and I gave it the link, and it did.
Okay.
And I said, here's what we did before, and now that your brain's been upgraded,
Well,
shame on me.
One of the reasons why I started using the ChatGPT Atlas browser several months ago is because supposedly you can have it find past things you've searched for, and like it'll remember stuff you browsed
Right.
for, right? It's supposed to remember your browsing history and be able to pull up stuff from your past browsing. And I haven't really been able to get them. Maybe I'm not saying that the right way. I don't know. But with this new feature with the memory upgrade and being able to have it deliver to you the link to that previous chat would be amazing for me to have. And I've been playing with it. So I'm just thinking maybe it hadn't rolled out yet, but I also had a conversation with ChatGPT about it. I'm like, well, how do I have to ask for this? Like, is it all in the way I ask and what I say? And it was kind of telling me that it can be like, if you're not prompting it properly, it may not be able to find what you're looking for. But I think it's still because it's still new. I'm going to keep trying. Once I get that eureka moment, I'm like, oh my God, look how cool. I'll be sure to share it with everyone. But it's good to know that they have upgraded the memory. We know that for the paid accounts, they've expanded the memory, which was such a big deal for me because I utilize it a lot, the ChatGPT directly in ChatGPT, and use Magi for everything else. But it has remembered so much about me. But before they upgraded the actual amount of memory recently, I had to periodically go in and remove stuff because it would tell me, this prompt would come up and say, I've reached the max. And it would tell me that it's not going to add more stuff to memory unless I remove stuff. So I'd have to go in, and you can go into in the settings, you can go on the back end and access your memory, and you can remove stuff. And it's actually a good idea to do this maybe once every quarter or so and remove stuff that's not relevant anymore, because it's taking up the storage space, number one, for your memory, but number two is going to be thinking of those things when you converse with it. And if it's stuff that's outdated or not relevant, I remember I did this a while back, and I was pulling out stuff that were out of date, that already kind of passed its prime. But that was back when you had to, because you would run out if you were like a power user like me. But now I don't have to worry about that. They really drastically improve just the storage. But my understanding is it's only on the paid accounts. I don't think it's on the free accounts.
I don't know.
So but for me, $20 a month is worth it. I mean,
that 20 is the last in my budget. I am holding on to that as long as I can, because I got to tell you, it's been invaluable.
Yeah.
And it's like, even like, well, it doesn't always tell the truth or whatever. In my ballooning community, because I've literally been involved, since way back in the early days, I can put it in there because we know the history. We were part of it. And it brings it up, and ChatGPT tells me, "Oh, I'm correcting that in my now." I say, so and so such and such said, and it puts it right in there. So then I test it a week later. I test it, and it gives it, and it even refers to me. So maybe I'll be in the annals of chat when ask Barb Drama,
right?
Whatever. I tell you. I'm sorry, Madeline.
Oh, go ahead.
There's one other thing. I don't want you to forget it before we leave, because our hour goes so fast. It's just before we came in here, Substack announced Substack TV. Did you catch that?
No.
It was like 13 minutes before we came
in.
And
where's Jim when we need him? Because Jim,
I know, and he left early. It says introducing the Substack TV app, now in beta, and they are going to Apple. It says what you can do with the TV app today, and they have it on Apple TV. It's not. I switched all of mine to the Amazon one. The Fire, my TVs. So, but Apple TV, it's on there. and what's
Wow.
the other big one? But it just
Google,
happened.
Apple TV
13
and Google TV.
Yeah, Google. Yeah. Yeah, Google TV and Apple. So I have Google on my one up at the resort, but here I went with the Fire. So this is going to get very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. We'll dive into it more next week. I'm going to save this
Okay.
link, and we'll that super interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Is that like the other TVs out there, streaming TVs, just another one now?
Probably.
Probably.
Because that's where the money is at for companies, is to be doing the streaming.
And I did put that in your community just before, because it was just before I was trying to find a link to this.
Yeah, I'll add this, and we can talk about it more next week. Because yeah, I mean, that's just a piece of news that literally just came out today.
Wow.
So very interesting.
Interesting.
But going back to the ChatGPT memory, I have a little video short I'm going to play where lady talks about that, and it's a good tip to know, like, how to update your ChatGPT memory. So let me play this for y'all real quick.
This is your reminder to update your memory in ChatGPT so that you're not bringing in all those random thoughts that Chat saved from 2025 into 2026. Let me show you how to do it. Go to your settings, then go to personalization. So you scroll down, and you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you want to go to memory and click manage memories. And then it's going to show you literally every memory that you ever had. So then you want to go ahead and delete anything that you don't want ChatGPT to bring into your conversations in 2026. And you can update the content for anything that you want to make sure that it does bring into your conversations, or any context that you want it to have. I hope that's helpful. Make sure you follow and like for more tech tools and tips.
I'm so glad I found that, because that she explains it so well. And it's just a quick little thing you can do to, I think it should, like I said earlier, I think it's something like at least quarterly, go through, check your stuff, get rid of stuff you literally just hit delete. It's so easy to do. So easy. So definitely recommend that. Next up, I just got a couple like YouTube, like just some YouTube and TikTok shorts to play of just some helpful stuff. Last week, we had watched a video from this young guy who does, AI, teaches AI and stuff, talking about how to. His video we watched was talking about like how to take your AI memory from like one chat to another, like moving it from one model to another, like from ChatGPT to Claude or Gemini. Like a lot of people are wanting to change now. We were hearing that a lot because people right now are raving about Claude. They're raving about Gemini. I see so many videos right now. I'm leaving ChatGPT for Claude or whatever. I think it's just really a trend that people are just trying to get clicks and views, honestly. But Claude is great. I've used Claude. That's why I like Magi, because I can just easily use them all in one tool. What are y'all's real quick before, like, Bez? What's your favorite right now to use?
I've gone to Claude, and just because it suits me better. I had to pick one. It's just like and then I experiment with all the other ones too. So it's not that Claude is my one and only. It's just that that's the one that I do a lot of stuff in, and I do experiment. And I've caught Claude hallucinating, just like every single one of them. And so you just got to pick your poison, and then be comfortable with the privacy thing. And on top of that, I also have Google Workspace, so I do stuff in there. But Gemini and I love Notebook and LM and all that stuff. But Gemini, their words are it's hard, and it's just not smooth.
It's finding what fits for what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time where I was going back and forth quite a bit between ChatGPT, Claude, and then Gemini was like, oh, this one's pretty good. And then I'd go back. Like it was almost like this ping pong game, like back and forth, like, because they were changing so much. And it seems like they're all trying to one up each other, like who's the best. But once I started paying the $20 a month for ChatGPT, only because I wanted to talk to it on the phone like a person. I've shown so many videos of me doing this. I love that feature that when they started the advanced voice audio about a little over a year ago. And I was like, I did what I always do. Let's make this an experiment. And I talked about it here on the live stream each week. And I'm like, I'm just going to do this for 1 month, 30 days. I'm not going to keep paying 20 a month. I already pay for Magi. Magi does everything. But I wanted that one feature that I couldn't get anywhere else, and fell in love with the feature. But then ChatGPT kept adding other features you could only get for the paid accounts. And they never gave me a reason to leave. So it made me use it more just in general. And now I'm at this place where my memory in ChatGPT is just so solid, is so good. It knows everything. I have so many brainstorming sessions with ChatGPT, just grabbing my phone, hitting the audio button and just talking it out. And so it's hard for me to want to leave, but everybody's raving about Claude right now.
You know what? I think you just got to pick one, because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I was paying for ChatGPT, then I let it go, and I was like sort of no man's land. And then I decided to, there were some use cases that, worked for me. So I was working with Claude. Then eventually I started paying for Claude. And so I like the projects thing, which I'm sure ChatGPT has something similar. So I have 4 different areas. And so when I do a prompt, I'll put it under this project, and it helps me. Like you said, if you've been using ChatGPT, there is no reason to leave it, really, because they're always one-upping each other. And,
Absolutely.
Just pick one, pay for it, and then run with it. And you can use the other free versions, which will be good enough for most every, and just, you'll start to eventually, like, you like ChatGPT, hey, and it works for you. So
Right. It does.
Yeah.
But because I'm also paying 20 a month for Magi and I have everything there, it's like when I want to play around with Claude or Gemini, or mostly when I'm using it for is for the image generators and the video generators. I have that capability for just this other subscription where I can do everything. So it's just finding what works for you, what fits into the work you're doing. And yeah, for sure. I came across this short. So it was one of the guys, we watched his video last week talking about how to, basically just take your memory from one to another if you wanted to change. And I actually walked through that even further in my debrief last Friday over in Skool. But he posted this other video this week that was really interesting. And he says it's a crazy use case of ChatGPT, but you could use any LLM really. But let me show you all this short video because it's really interesting what he showcases.
This has to be the best ChatGPT use case that I've ever seen. So you start by taking a photo of any nutritional label, then uploading it into ChatGPT and saying, look at this ingredient list and tell me if there's anything that's bad for me. ChatGPT will then list all the ingredients in plain English and then outline what's bad for you and whether the food is actually healthy or not. And you can tell it to suggest better alternatives. It's literally like having your own personal nutritionist. If you want more crazy ChatGPT use cases like this, follow me and say this.
I like that guy. I've been following him ever since I found him a few months ago. He really shares interesting things, interesting use cases of ChatGPT, but most of what he shows is like fill in the blank, whatever your favorite LLM is, because you could do that with the others as long as you're able to upload an image. I think you can with all of them now.
Is he a nutritionist specialist?
No, he's just a kid that makes all these videos talking about uses of AI. But I just thought it was interesting because he's doing something I'm always talking about here. Like, I can just take a picture of something, or I can turn on, because I'm on the hold on, we'll do the comments in a minute. Because I'm on the paid account with ChatGPT, I can turn on the camera. And I've showed examples of that here before on the live stream. You can't do that on the free account. I'm pretty sure you can take pictures on the free ChatGPT and do like what that guy was showing. But I like to go a step further and actually just do the video, just turn the video camera on my phone and just show it and say, and ask it questions. But that's what I just found interesting with that video. Like, yeah, take a picture of a label of some food item and have it, find out about those kinds of details if that's something you're interested in. I just think that's neat.
I want to just pipe in real quick. I see a lot of people doing these type of videos, and I think they're great. I get caught up in them too. But what I've noticed is even in my own, I'm an expert in my domain. I've caught some of the LLMs giving really bad information, and so I think all of us should be careful, take a step back,
100%.
and you know, because I don't know if you've guys seen bad hallucinations, but I have. And then when I asked it for reference material and why they gave that, and it was Claude, you know, backed up. But I'm sure every single one of them would have done the
Yeah,
same thing.
they've addressed that with ChatGPT, you know, with the 5.2 now is supposed, things like that are supposed to be better, where it's not so quick to do that, is my understanding. But yeah, I mean, it's just no different than when you Google something. You got to do
Yeah.
your research and don't always go by one singular source. You know, look up. I mean, it's so funny because like back in the day when we Googled, it's like we pretty much use AI for everything. And plus, AI is already incorporated into Google now anyway. It's really funny. But I would always like look at as many, whatever I'm searching for, like find as many sources and resources and dig into it, not just, oh, here's one Reddit post or here's one LinkedIn post addressing it. It's like, okay, that's one person's opinion. You know, or it's the LLM is making a determination based on what it's looking at. It's like, okay, but let's keep going. And yeah, it happens. That's a great point you bring up, because that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. It's really good. Larry has some good comments on here. He said, back when we were talking before about changing LLMs, he says, I go Gemini first, then ChatGPT, then Claude, and compare the results. That's actually a great idea to play around with if you're still trying to figure out like which is the better one at the moment. But yeah, it's always looking for who has the best results. He finds Claude Free is the best at writing, but the data is outdated. So I'm asking about latest software. I use it, can't really answer. Maybe that's the limit of the free. Yeah, it's probably the limitation on the free version.
Yeah.
But you know what's really good for, you know, like any kind of depends on what that thing is. I mean, Claude is good for writing. That it's always been good at writing. I used to use it quite a bit for writing until ChatGPT got better. But then you have tools like Perplexity, which is great for research, and it's going to always give you sources, always,
Yeah.
which is really helpful. I think it's just best to try different things, to see what fits into what you're doing.
You know, it's a lot of these LLMs now crawl the internet. So if there's bad garbage out there, it'll pick it up. But so you have to, and a lot of stuff that are trends and people are really, you know, hyping up is not good stuff to go on. So you got to just be careful.
Right. Exactly. I'm not going to play this whole video, but because we're already at the top of the hour. But have y'all heard that ChatGPT announced recently that they're going to incorporate ads on the free accounts? If you're on a free account on ChatGPT, ads are coming. Have y'all heard about that?
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So there's this AI expert. I come across him all the time on TikTok. Oh, that reminds me. Let me say something about TikTok real quick. For those that don't know what's going to happen with TikTok, but technically tomorrow, which is Friday, January 23rd, that's when the new TikTok US ownership is supposed to start. Now, there's all this speculation. Nobody knows exactly how it's going to play out, but it's very possible the algorithm is going to be completely different. I'm really concerned that what we know is TikTok right now is not going to be TikTok starting tomorrow, because they're changing the algorithm. And the algorithm, for me, what makes TikTok great is the algorithm. You watch a piece of content, it knows that you like that piece of content, and is going to feed you more of that type of content. And it's like, I like looking at all like these AI videos, like I'm playing for y'all, these video shorts. It sees what I like and brings me more of it on TikTok, which is just amazing. I'm so impressed with how well the algorithm works. I'm very concerned about how that's going to change. We don't know exactly when and how, but the ownership change is effective tomorrow. So my recommendation, and it'll be in my my 30 days of Madeline, my little video challenge, my self-imposed content challenge. I talk about it I haven't posted it yet. It'll be out later, but I talk about this. If there are creators you follow on TikTok, like TikTok's the main place you follow certain creators, go to their TikToks today and see if they have a link to other places. A lot of them are talking in their videos about where else you can find me, because we just don't know what's going to happen. And certain topics, I mean, they don't really like people talking about politics anymore on there. So if you follow people that talk about politics and news, current news, some of those might get shut down. Like, we just don't know until it all happens. I just want to give that heads up, because there's some creators I found on TikTok, and I mostly watch them on TikTok. And it's like, you know what? Let me go follow their YouTube or their Instagram, or like, let me have their other place, one of their other places as a backup, because there's a lot of concern about what's going to happen. Larry says ChatGPT is the worst for hallucinations, but I think it's been upgraded with the latest it's 5.2, right? I know they addressed that. And I've even noticed it's better. So I think on the 5.2, it's not as much of an issue.
Yeah, I think when you are an expert in your domain, you can catch stuff and you can challenge it, and they'll, like Larry said, it's the same thing I have. But what I liked is that they'll usually say, okay, hey, here's the data, and you're right, here's the source data, and they'll correct it. So they'll do a 180. But hey, if you didn't know it, you could just, go on social media and give advice around that. Hey, anything you say, and even if you don't say it, can and will be used against you. So
Right. I think it's gotten better over time. I mean, it's still going to hallucinate. I mean, it happens. But Larry is making a good point, how it does say, oh, you're absolutely right. Because I'll do that too. I'll correct it on something. Oh, you're right. You're right. And it's like, well, why did they give it to me in the first place? Which is kind of funny. But I know that's something OpenAI has been really, trying to make better. Because it's something people complain about.
Well, I think you have to put in perspective, it's generative AI. Okay. And if you understand that, then you're going to give it a lot of grace, because even before OpenAI, I'm a recruiter. There was a lot of companies out there with machine learning AI, hiring engineers over LLMs and all that, but their stuff was proprietary and probably hard coded and rules based. So it wasn't generative. It was whatever they cooked up and they didn't tell you.
Right. Yeah. Let me just play a little bit. This guy's he has a TikTok video. I'm just going to play just a little bit of it, because he's addressing the whole ChatGPT ads that are coming. I don't know when it's coming, but since I pay $20 a month, I don't think I have to worry about it. But it's just interesting, and then we'll wrap up.
So ChatGPT is launching ads. I told you it was coming for 6 months. They have now officially confirmed it. It is coming out on the free plan. If you pay for ChatGPT directly with money, you're not going to have to get ads for now, at least. And for the approximately 95% of the world, so 950 million people who use ChatGPT for free, y'all are going to get ads. And now that may be enough to get a few people to upgrade, but history says that the vast majority of people on the free plan will stay with the free plan, and the ads will be useful enough and clicked on enough that they will be valuable to the advertisers. And that brings me to the biggest unanswered question in advertising today. How much is that ad space worth? Now, ChatGPT claims they're not sharing the conversation, but there is a lot you can do short of sharing the conversation that still makes those ads valuable. For example, you can say, you don't get to see the conversation, but we will place your ads where there is conversational purchase intent. You just have to trust us. You are selling jam. We will place those ads on conversations that have intent to purchase delicious raspberry jam, or whatever your product may be. Beanie hats comes to mind. So I want to know, is this going to be more valuable than Google's ads? Is this going to be more valuable than Meta's ads? Is this going to start to suck advertising dollars out of the system into a new place? That's surely what Sam is thinking. He has an audience of 950 million people. I'm sure he is telling investors these are valuable ad slots. How valuable? That's my question. What do you think? Are you upgrading? Are you going to not tolerate the ads? Tell me.
I thought it was a longer video. I think I was thinking of a different video of his. I love that guy. He's like the super smart thinking AI expert. He always has these interesting perspectives. I'll put the link to all these videos we've watched today over at my YouTube at Madeline Sklar in the description for this live stream if anybody ain't over at Skool. But interesting how he's sharing this information with us and what to expect, and what an interesting way to look at it. Like, how is it going to be worth buying ads on there? Because everybody's so used to Google ads, right? But I think people are not using Google like they were. But then how would it show up in ChatGPT?
Well,
know?
I think they're not predicted to make money till 2030 or something. And so, they're losing money, and you should see the type of salaries they pay people there. It's a war for talent. But they, and here comes Google. They have a war chest. They don't have to, they don't have to per se put ads on their AI stuff, but OpenAI does. How those investors are going to get a little antsy. It's like, hey, when are you going to make a profit? So
Right. You always got to keep your eye on the market.
yeah.
Right.
And what their moves are, because that's earlier even than we actually see them landing on the applications.
Interesting.
Did
But do you-
OpenAI go public yet or no?
I don't think so.
I don't know, but what I do on all of these, because I know I'm an old, and this is way back when, E.F. Hutton person, and I'm always looking at, because where does the money come from? Just like even Skool, all of that. I will look, what's the foundation? Because you can invest so much time in it, and if those guys aren't investing their own money, or they're not investing wisely, that's going to do a lot with whatever that application is that's developed. They're just throwing it against the wall to see if it hits. And so you have to pay attention to that stuff. And I don't think that's the right way to do it with the ChatGPT. For the type of application that it is, I don't think, I don't think that's the way to roll. And I also think, it's because of us, Google is what it is today, and it does have the pockets, and it can do what it wants to do. And so you got to be, it's going to be it's a great time to be alive. It's going to be very interesting, and pay attention and actually use the tools for good, because that's the other side to this story, is that there's lots of people that are in this using the tools for bad. I mean, even in the ballooning community, one of the things that, is like one thing that happens is, if there is ever an incident in ballooning, there's people that know nothing about ballooning, and they're trying to make something out of the incident, and they don't even know that it may not even be an incident. They just saw something happen. And we just had that in the last couple of weeks, where someone was trying to illustrate what could go wrong, and some news reporter picked it up as something that did. So it's dangerous. And I mean, just yesterday, the news was about the snow that was in Russia that everybody was, reporting, and they were totally freaked out by it, and they had to go prove that it was AI.
Oh my God. Wow.
So this is where we are today. So you've got to be very careful.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about labeling either, because that's,
because
I have an avatar. I mean, I created this with AI. It used my bone structure and everything. It used my face from photographs I took to create it. But it can, even with this face, I go back. I was one of those kids that actually kept the photographs from each year. And so I actually fed it to
smart
ChatGPT. And so it, right from the get-go, in the prior versions where it could read people's faces, it did me. That looks pretty close to what I actually look like, except that my hair actually looks better on there than it does on me today. So, you want me to get all dolled up at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning? Doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I saw your thing about OpenAI,
yeah,
and
let me
that
pull
could
back
be a
up. Well,
driving.
I did
Yeah.
what I always do when you ask like, has they gone public? I went to ChatGPT and asked it, has OpenAI gone public? And it says no, it has not gone public. It's still a privately held company.
But look
You
at the
ask it
dates
how
that
Sam
people are
feels about it.
anticipating.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
And so this is actually a play to increase the valuation. So if you can get ad revenue, and now you're showing the potential investors that, hey, this is a gravy train. I think the valuation is going to be so crazy when they go IPO that it's going to break records. So
Yeah.
they're going to do everything they can to push that lever. So the
Right.
last thing on the Skool thing I wanted to tell you is I noticed I also have 2 dates on Skool. But because I use 2 emails.
Ah.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
have my Gmail, and then when Alex Hermosi did his thing, and then I also have my my career community on my Google Workspace email, and I
Ah.
noticed the dates are different. One's 2023, one's 2025.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, so I got 2
Interesting.
profiles on Skool.
Yeah, I do have I have like this like separate one I did on another email just because back when Skool didn't have as many features, and I wanted to be able see now as a admin or owner, you can see how things are going to look for your members, but didn't do that for a long time. And so I wanted to be able to see like, well, what does this look like for the public, especially if you have a paywall on something like a class. It looks, you as the admin versus somebody, a community member, it looks completely different. So I had set up to do that a long time ago, but I don't even have to use that anymore, which is nice because they keep adding features. Did you see Larry laughed and said, I saw the Russia snow videos. Everyone kept saying this is not AI. I did see something just when I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, something with crazy snow in Russia, but it didn't look real. But
Well,
interesting stuff.
there's an OSINT community out for that whole region. And the conflicts went out there, that if you want to dive in, I think they're on Twitter. And they used to be pretty active to verify stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is always such a great chat, y'all. Thanks for hanging out, spending time. As always, we go over an hour. Come join us over on Skool tomorrow for my debrief. One of the things I wanted to do for tomorrow on the debrief is my good friend Dustin Stout, who developed Magi, one of my favorite AI tools. He had posted on Facebook the other day, he showed all these amazing photos he created using AI, using Magi, but also using, I think one of them, he said he just went to Gemini Direct, I think, or Nano Banana. But he posted this showing like his favorite from last year. And then he said, put in the comments if you like the prompts. Of course, I'm like me, So he provided the link to actually go see the prompts he used to create these images. And so that's one of the things I want to do tomorrow in the debrief. It's like one of those deep dive things that'll be fun as a group, is to go try this and follow what he put together to see, okay, how can we take this, but have it be specifically for yourself? So I want to kind of play around with that tomorrow. So I think that'll be fun. Okay. So come join on Skool tomorrow afternoon, but we'll be here every Thursday like we are as always. So thank you so much for hanging out. And thank you for people watching the live replay and those watching the live stream and those watching the replay later. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Have a great week.
Bye.